अथ द्वादशोऽध्यायः भक्तियोगः। अर्जुन उवाच एवं सततयुक्ता ये भक्तास्त्वां पर्युपासते ये चाप्यकुशलमव्यक्तं तेषु के योगवित्तमाः। श्री भगवानुवाच मया वश्य मनो ये मां नित्ययुक्ता उपासते श्रद्धया परयोपेताः ते मे युक्ततमा मताः। ये तवाकुशलमनिर्देश्यमव्यक्तं पर्युपासते सर्वत्र कामचिन्त्याञ्च सर्वत्र कामचिन्त्याञ्च कूटस्थ मच्चलन ध्रुवम् कूटस्थमचलन ध्रुवम् कूटस्थमचलन ध्रुवम् 사누니야미에는 드리야그라 사누니야미에는 드리야그라맘 살바트라 사마부드타야흐 때 브라부누바누티 마메바 살바푸타히테 라타흐 클레쇼티카 따라스테쇼 마비아크타 사크타차타삼 클레쇼티카 따라스테쇼 클레쇼티카 따라스테쇼 마비아크타 사크타차타삼 아비아크타 히 가틸두허캄 데하바드피라바 비아테 예 두 살바누이 깔마누이 마이 삼니아시아 마트파라흐 아나니에나이바 요게나 맘 디아야는타 우파사테 데슈마함 사무드탈타 무리티우 삼사라사가라트 바바미 나치라트 발타 마야 베시타차타삼 마이에바 마나 아타트스바 마이 무드팀 니베샤야 니바시시오시 마이에바 아타 울트밤 나 삼샤야흐 아타 지트담 사마타툼 나 샤크노쉬 마이 스티라무 아피아 사요게나 따또 마 미크차 부툼 타난자야 아피아 세피아 사말토시 마트깔마 파라무 파바 마달타마피 깔마누이 굴바는 시드티 미바 프시아시 굴바는 시드티 마바 프시아시 아타이 따다피아 샤크토시 깔툼 마디오가마 시리타흐 살바깔마 팔라티아감 따타흐 구루 야타트마바느 시레요 히 지냐남 지냐나마피아 사지지냐나드티아남 지냐나마피아 사지지냐나드피. That's why I smoke tobacco. I mean, vape tobacco. 지냐나마피아 사지지냐나드티아남 비슈시어테 티아나드 깔마팔라티아 가스티아가 그차느티 라나는 따라무. 그때 그 뭐요? 티아나드 깔마팔라티아 가스티아가 그차느티라 나는 따라무. 티아나드 깔마팔라티아 가스티아가 그차는 티아나드 깔마팔라티아 가스티아가 그차느티라 차느티라 나는 따라무. 티아나드 깔마팔라티아 가스티아가 그차느티란 라 나는 따라무. 티아나드 깔마팔라티아 가스티아가 그차느티라 나는 따라무. 티아나드 깔마팔라티아 가스티아가 그차느티라 나는 따라무. 아드베시트 살바푸타남 마이트라흐 까루너 에바짱 닐마모 니라항은까라흐 사마두허 카수카흐 구슈미 사느투실터흐 사타탐 요기 야타트마 드리터 니시자야흐 마얄비타마노 부드티리오 마드 바그다흐 사메 브리야흐 야스마느 노드 비자테 야스마느 노드 비자테 로카는 노드 비자테 나 자 야흐 할쇼 말쇼 파요드베 가일무쿠토 할쇼 말쇼 파요드베 가일무쿠토 야흐 사 자 메 브리야흐 아나페쿠쇼흐 슈질다쿠쇼 우다시노 가타비아타흐 살바라무 파파리티아기 요 마드파크타흐 사메 브리야흐 요 나 흐리시아티 나 드베실투이 나 쇼짜티 나 강은 꾸셔티 슈파 파리티아기 파크티마니아흐 사메 브리야흐 사마흐 샤트라우 자 미트레 자 타타 마나파마나요흐 시토시노 수카두흐 캐슈 사마흐 상응가비 발지타흐 툴리아니는 다스 투딜 마우니 툴리아니는 다스 투딜 마우니 사는 투실도 예나 게나치트 아니까타흐 스티라 마틸 파크티만 스티라 마틸 파크티만음에 브리오 나라흐 예투 달미야 무리담이담 야토크담 파리우바 사테 시라드다타나 마트파라마 파크타스테티 Bhagata Bhagata Sutativa Me Priyaha. Tat Saditi Shrimad Bhagavad Gita Supanishatusu Brahma Vidyayam Yoga Shastre Shri Krishna Arjuna Sambade Bhakti Yogo Nama Dvadashotyayaha. Arjuna said, of those worshippers who constantly devoted adore thee, and those who, on thee as the indestructible and unmanifest, who are best acquainted with devotion. The Holy One said, fixing the mind on me, they that constantly adore me, being endued with the highest faith, are deemed by me to be the most devoted. They, however, who worship the indestructible, the indescribable, the unmanifest, the all-pervading, the inconceivable, the indifferent, the immutable, the eternal, who, restraining the entire group of the senses, are equal-minded in respect of all around, and are engaged in the good of all creatures, attain to me. The trouble is the greater for those whose minds are fixed on the unmanifest, for the path to the unmanifest is hard to find by those that are embodied. They who, reposing all action on me, regarding me as their highest object, worship me, meditating on me with devotion, undirected to anything else. Of them whose minds are fixed on me, I, without delay, become the deliverer from the ocean of mortal world, the mortal world. Fix thy heart on me alone, place thy understanding on me. Hereafter shalt thou dwell in me. No doubt. If, however, thou art unable to steadily fix thy heart on me, then, O Dhananjaya, strive to obtain me by devotion from continuous application. If thou beest unequal to even continuous application, then let actions performed for me be thy highest aim. Even performing all thy acts for my sake, thou wilt obtain perfection. If even this thou art unable to do, then resorting to devotion in me, subduing thy soul, abandon the fruit of all action. Knowledge is superior to application. Meditation is better than knowledge. The abandonment of the fruit of action than meditation, and tranquility immediately from abandonment. He who hath no hatred for any creature, who is friendly and compassionate also, who is free from egoism, who hath no vanity, who is alike in pleasure and pain, who is forgiving, contented, always devoted, of subdued soul, firm of purpose, with heart and understanding fixed on me, even he is dear to me. He through whom the world is not troubled, who is not troubled by the world, who is free from joy, wrath, fear, and anxieties, even he is dear to me. That devotee of mine who is unconcerned, pure, diligent, unconnected, and free from distress, and who renounceth every action, even he is dear to me. He who hath no joy, no aversion, who neither grieveth nor desireth, who renounceth both good and evil, who is full of faith in me, even he is dear to me. He who is alike to a friend and foe, as also in honor and dishonor, who is alike in cold and heat, pleasure and pain, who is free from attachment, to whom censure and praise are equal, who is taciturn, who is contented with anything that cometh, who is homeless, of steady mind and full of faith, even that man is dear to me. They who resort to this righteousness, immortality which hath been declared, those devotees full of faith and regarding me as the highest object, are the most dear to me. Namaste. Namaste. test. Namaste. Nu Chitta Sahoja Amrito Ni Dunudate Hota Yadudu To Apabad Viva Sebataho Vi Satishtue Piho Patipi Rajo Mama Devata Ta Habisho Biba Sati Siva Madhuma. I just want to make sure I'm confused today. Sorry. 58 too. Yeah. Worry for nothing. Yuvamano Ajarasutri Shiva Vishyo Nu Nataneshu Nataseshu Ajarasutri Shiva Vishyo Nu Nataseshu Ajarasutri Shiva Vishyo Nu Nataseshu Ajarasutri Shiva Vishyo Shiva Vishyo Nunata Seshu Ajarasutri Shiva Vishyo Nunata Seshu Ajarasutri Shiva Vishyo Nunata Seshu Ajarasutri Shiva Vishyo Nunata Seshu Tishtati Atio Na Prishtham Purushitasya Rojate Divo Na Sanu Sutanayanuna Sutanayanuna Chikuradat Sutanayanuna Chikuradat Grano Ludre Pilvasu Piho Surohito Hota Nushoteto Raishol Maltiaho Rato Na Bikush Virinja Sana Ayushu Vyanushagu Varya Deva Ranuvati Vi Badajuto Ataseshu Dishtate Brita Juhu Piho Surinuyo Dubishi Dubishivanuyo Turishu Yadagane Banino Purisho Yase Krishnam Ta Emma Rusha Dulme Ajara Japuljamu Po Bana Bata Jodito Yute Na Sahavam Aba Vati Bamsagaho Apivura Januna Apivura Janunaku Shitam Bajasa Rajaho Sithanushicharatam Payate Patatrinoho Datu Shitava Purigabo Manushwe Manushwa Shiva Rayim Na Charum Suhabam Janepiahu Otaramagane Atitim Varenuyam Mitram Na Shavam Divyaya Janamane Otaram Sabata Juhuvo Yajishtam Yam Kato Burinote Atvareshu Agnim Vishiveshu Maratim Pasunam Saparyami Prayasa Yami Ratnamu Akuchidra Suno Sahaso no Adia Sutotripyo Mitramahaho Shaima Yakucha Agane Grinonu Dama Tamam Hasa Grinonu Dama Grinonu Damam Hasa Urushuyoljo Napat Bulbi Rayasi Piho Napat Bulpirayasi Piho Pava Barutam Grinote Bipabo Pava Makavanu Makavad Piaho Makavanu Makavad Piaho Shaima Urushogne Amhaso Grinonodam Bratai Makoshu Tia Basulja Gamiat Namaste. Never waxeth faint the immortal, son of strength, since he, the herald, hath become Vivashwan's messenger. On paths most excellent, he measured out mid-air. He with oblation calls the service of the gods. Never decaying, seizing his appropriate food, rapidly, eagerly through the dry wood he spreads. His back, as he's sprinkled, glistens like a horse. Loud hath he roared, and shouted like the heights of heaven. Set high in place over all that Vasus, Rudras do, immortal, lord of riches, seated as high priest, hastening like a car to men, to those who live. The god without delay gives boons to be desired. Urged by the wind, he spreads through dry wood as he lists, armed with his tongues for sickles, with a mighty roar. Black is thy path, Agni, changeless, with glittering waves. When like a bull thou rushest eager to the trees. With teeth of flame, wind-driven, through the wood he speeds, triumphant like a bull among the herd of cows. With bright strength roaming to the everlasting air, things fixed, things moving, quake before him as he flies. The Prigus stablished thee among mankind for men, like as a treasure, beauteous, easy to invoke. Thee, Agni, as a herald and choice-worthy guest, as an auspicious friend to the celestial race. Agni, the seven-tongued deftest sacrificer, him whom the priests elect as solemn worship. The herald, messenger of all the Vasus, I serve with dainty food, I ask for riches. Grandson of strength, thou rich in friends, a refuge without a flaw, this day to us thy praisers. O Agni, son of strength, with forts of iron preserve thou from distress the man who lost thee. Be thou a refuge, bright one, to the singer, a shelter, bounteous Lord, to those who worship. Preserve the singer from distress, O Agni. May he, enriched with prayer, come soon and early. (97) We might get to finish book 2 today. If not, that's okay. Namaste. Niyameshu Pakushu Maho. Shaucha Tisavanga Jugupasa. It's another copy. It's a different version, but they're not all different. Just that some of the words have been changed over time. It's at least 5,000 years old. And the printing on this one, this is the best version, the one that I'm reading, because it has not all the other versions, but almost all the other versions, which is good. Okay. Shaucha Tisavang Gajuku. Shaucha Tisavang Gajuku Pasa. Paraira Samsaigaho. The problem with this one is the printing is not the best, so you have to double check with every other version just in case. Sometimes. Sivangange Jugupasayam Shauchamara Pamanoho Kaya Badia Daishi Kayana Pishivangi Yatil Pavati Kim Cha Paraira Samsaigaho Kaya Siva Pava Baloki Sivamapi Kayam Jihasul Muriji Jala Dipira Kusholaya Nunapi Jivasul Muriji Jala Dipira Kushon Nayanunapi Layananapi Jihasul Muriji Jala Dipira Kushon Layananapi. Could take a while. Jihasul Muriji Jala Dipira Kusholayana Jihasul Muriji Jala Dipira Kusholayanunapi Kaya Shudati Mapashyanu Katam Kaya Shudati Mapashyanu Katam Kaya Shudati Mapashyanu Katam Parakayaira Dhyanudameva Prayataihu Parakayaira Dhyanudameva Prayataihu Samsarijyata. From purification comes dislike for one's own body and unmixing with others. Under dislike for one's own body, the ascetic, undertaking purification, sees defects of the body and becomes unattached to it. What more, unmixing with others. The knower of the corporal nature, seeing the impurity of body even though it be washed by earth and water, etc., desires to give up his own body. How can he mix with other bodies which are too impure? We will speak with regard to observances. Oh, I forgot that. Okay, so I should have started here. Now we shall describe the perfections regarding the firmness of observances. And then, yeah, okay. That's why I read 2 English versions, because it's an ancient book. That's all I'm gonna say. We will speak with regard to observances. As a result of cleanliness, there is disgust at one's own body and no intercourse with others. As soon as there is disgust with his own body, he has begun cleanliness. Seeing the offensiveness of the body, he is no longer attached to the body and becomes an ascetic. Moreover, there is no intercourse with others. Perceiving the true nature of the body, desirous of escaping his own body, even after he has washed it with earth and water and others, Not seeing any purity in the body, how could he have intercourse with the bodies of others, absolutely unhallowed as they are? Kim Ja Sataba Shuddhati Sauma Shuddhaki or Shuddhati? Come on. Okay. I'll check with the other versions. This is supposed to look like a GH K. Yeah, Shuddhati on this one. And Shuddhati. So I'm gonna go with Shuddhati because sometimes this publisher, whoever wrote it, they mix the GH with DH, K and T. Satava Shuddhati Saumanasyaika Guriyenu Turiya Jayat Ma Daishana Yogyat Vani. That this could take a while. Satava Shuddhati Saumanasyaika Guriyenu Turiya Jayat Ma Daishana Yogyat Vani. Satava Shuddhati Saumanasyaika Guriyenu Diriya Jayat Matashana Yogyat Vani. Okay, that's why I use tobacco, because Satava Shuddhati Saumanasyaika Guriyenu Satava Shuddhati Saumanasyaika Guriyenu Diriya Jayat Matashana Yogyat Vani. Satava Shuddhati Saumanasyaika Guriyendri. Satava Shuddhati Saumanasyaika Guriyenu Diriya Jayat Matashana Yogyat Vani. Ja. Pavanati Bhagyashashoh Shucheho Satava Shuddhati Siddhata Satava Shuddhati Siddhataho Samanasyam Tata Aika Griyam Tata Inudriya Jaya Siddhata Shichat Matashana Yogyatavam Inudriya Jaya Siddhata Inudriya Jaya Siddhata Shichat Matashana Yogyatavam Buddhati Sattavasya Bhavati Dietak Chao Ja Satairiya Dati Kamyata Bhavati Dietak Chao Ja Satairiya Dati Kamyata. I hope I'm not freaking anyone out. I can't do this in public because I get attacked. Bhavati Dietak Chao Sa Bhavati Dietak Chao Ja Satairi Bhavati Dietak Bhavati Dietak Chao Ja Satairiya Dati Kamyata. Almost. Sorry, 1 second. Bhavati Dietak Chao Ja Satairiya Dati Kamyata. Iti. What more? Purity of the essence, high-mindedness, one-pointedness, self-control and fitness for self-observation appear. Appear is the completion of the sentence. From purification comes the purity of the essence, thence high-mindedness, therefrom one-pointedness, thence sense control, and thence fitness for self-observation comes to the intellective essence. All these are attained from the firmness of purification. Furthermore, purity of sattva and gentleness and singleness of intent and subjugation of the senses and fitness for the sight of the self. The word arise completes the sentence. As a result of cleanliness, there is purity of sattva. Therefrom, gentleness. From this, singleness of intent. Therefrom, subjugation of the senses. And from this, fitness for the sight of the self is acquired by the sattva of the thinking substance. So to this, there is access, as a result of his being established in cleanliness. (42) Samtosho danutamaho sukhala paho. Yep. Tata jokatamu yakaja kamasukham loke yakaja divyam mahatusukhamu Trishno kushaya sukhasyaite Trishno kushaya Trishno kushaya sukhasyaite Nai hataho for shodoshim kalam iti. Just want to make sure there's a dot there. Yeah. Kalam iti. From contentment comes the attainment of the highest happiness. So also it has been said, whatever sensual pleasure is there in this world, and whatever great pleasure is there in heaven, these cannot be equal to the 16th part of the happiness derived from the cessation of desires. As a result of contentment, there is an acquisition of superlative pleasure. And in this sense it has been said, what constitutes the pleasure of love in this world, and what the supreme pleasure of heaven, are both not to be compared with the 16th part of the pleasure of dwindled craving. Kayana duriya siddhira shuddhiti kushoya tapasahu. Kayana duriya siddhira. Yeah, this. Yeah. I mean, I'll be surprised if it's a k. It's supposed to be ta. Kayana duriya siddhira shuddhiti kushoya tapasahu. 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 Nilbaltiyama nameva tapo hinasatiya shuddhatiya varanamalam. Hinasatiya shuddhatiya varanamalam. I just want to make sure that's a iya. It looks like it. I'm not too familiar with the spelling, so I'm double checking here. Shuddhatiya, yeah. Shuddhatiya, they use the same writing. There are a few different ways to write Sanskrit. A couple at least. Not a few. Okay. Tada varanamala pagama daka yasiditira nuima diya. Tada varanamala pagama daka yasiditira nuima diya. I mean, there isn't a couple of ways to write Sanskrit. Some of this you can write it differently in different ways. Sometimes, not all the time. You can't. There's no two system of Sanskrit. I'm not saying that. Sorry about that. But like this, you could write it differently, and it still sounds the same. Dada Varanamala Bhagama Degaya Siddhira Nuima. Dada Varanamala Bhagama Degaya Siddhira Nuima Dia. Datenudriya Siddhil Dura Gachravana Daishana Diati. Yaten Datenudriya Siddhil Dura Gachravana Daishana Diati. Yatenudriya Siddhil Dura Gachravana Daishana Diati. And one more. Yatenudriya Siddhil Dura Gachravana Daishana Diati. As an alternative version, number 1. No manana, no manana, no manana, no manana, no manana, no manana dieti. Okay. Datenudriya Siddhil Dura Gachravana manana manana dieti. Datenudriya Siddhil Dura Gachravana mamana dieti. One more. Datenudriya Siddhil Dura Gachravana manana. Datenudriya Siddhil Dura Gachravana manana dieti. Datenudriya Siddhil Dura Gachravana manana. Datenudriya Siddhil Dura Gachravana manana dieti. Okay. From penance comes destruction of impurities, thence the perfections of the body and the senses. The penance alone, being accomplished, destroys the dirt of the veil of impurities. From the cessation of that veil of dirt come the physical perfections, anima, etc. Similarly, the perfections of the senses, such as power of hearing from a distance, thought reading, etc. Perfection in the body and in the organs after impurity has dwindled as a result of self-castigation. Self-castigation, in the very act of completing itself, destroys the defilement from the covering of impurity. As a result of the removal of the defilement of the covering of this, there is perfection of the body, such as atomization. Likewise, perfection of the organs, such as hearing and seeing at a distance. Samadhi siddhiti, again. Samadhi siddhiti. Yeah, I'll go with the other version. I'm sure he meant to write a T, just that if you connect that, becomes a K. Samadhi siddhiti shivara pranuitanat. Ishivarai pitta saiva pavasya samadhi siddhiti. See, like he didn't connect it here, he connected it there, so it's like that's a T. Samadhi siddhiti siddhitiriya saivami pasita mabitatam. Saivami pasita mabitatam. Janati deshanutare kalanutare ja. Tatosya prajinya yatha bhutam prajanati. Prajanati. From study comes communion with desired deity. The gods, the rishis, and the siddhas come to the vision of the yogi who is given to the study, and they remain engaged in his work. As a result of study, there is communion with the chosen deity. Gods and sages and perfected men come within the range of vision of him who has the disposition to study and are helpful to his work. Alright, I'm just gonna go with the T here because wait, this is 45. I'm doing 46. Did I miss something? What did I miss? Kayanandriya siddhiti Sivatya dishita. Or I missed 44, sorry. I have to do it over. I'm gonna read it just once really quickly, but I missed 44. Sivatyaya dishita devata samprayogaha deva roshayaha siddhita shija Sivatyaya shilasya daishanam kakachanati karye jasya vaitanata iti. So that's supposed to be 44. I'm just gonna read one version. From study comes communion with desired deity. The gods, the rishis, and the siddhas come to the vision of the yogi who is given to the study, and they remain engaged in his work. I'm gonna quickly read 45. Samadhi siddhiti shivara pranuitanat Ishivarae pitta saiva pavasya samadhi siddhiriyaya saivami pusitamavi saivami pusitamavita saivami pusitamavita saivami pusitamavitatam janati deshanutare kalanutare cha tatosya prajinya yatha bhutam Prajanatiti. Sorry about that. I skipped once. This is the problem with short sutras. Is sometimes I could skip it. Try not to. All right. From the profound meditation. From the profound meditation upon Ishvara, the success in spiritual absorption. The perfection of spiritual absorption comes to him whose full existence is dedicated to Ishvara. By this, he knows correctly all that he wants to know about objects in different places, in different bodies, and at different times. Thence, his intellective vision knows everything in reality. Perfection of concentration as a result of devotion to the Ishvara. One whose whole nature is surrendered to the Ishvara has perfection of concentration, by which he knows as the thing really is, all that he desires to know, in other places, and in other bodies, and in other times. Thereafter his insight sees into things as they are. Ukataha Saha. Pretty sure that's Saha. The printing is not perfect. Yeah, Saha. Just triple check here. Saha. Cool. Siddhiti Piriyamani Yamaha Asanadini Pakushyomaha Tatra Sithira Sukhama Sanamu. Tadyatha Padma Sanam Padra Sanam Sivasitikam Tanundo Sanam Sopashrayam Paryangakam Guru Grauncha Nishodanam Hasati Nishodana Mushitra Nishodanam Hasati Nishodanam Ushituro Nishodanam Samasamsitanam Sithira Sukham Yata Sukham Jatyavamadini. These are the original asanas or seats for yoga. Nowadays we do yoga exercise. Times are different. The restraints and observances have been described with their perfections. We shall describe the postures and the rest. There the postures steady and comfortable. These are as follows: Padmasana, Virasana, Padrasana, Svastika, Dandasana, Sopashriya, Paryanga, Graunja Nishodana, Hasati Nishodana, Ushutara Nishodana, Samasamsitana, Sthira Sukha, Yatha Sukha, etc. etc. That's actually in there. The abstentions and observances, together with their perfections, have been described. We have the following to say of the postures and the others. In this stable and easy posture, everybody who's doing yoga should take note. Stable and easy posture. Don't push yourself too hard. For example, the lotus posture and the hero posture and the descent posture and the mystic diagram and the step posture, and with the rest posture and the bedstead, the seated curlew and the seated elephant and the seated camel, the even arrangement, the stable and easy, also called as is easiest, and others of the same kind. Prayatana Shaitiliya Nanandasa Samapatati Pyamu. They use, like, this is a different style, so I'm not familiar with that style. So I have to double check. Yeah, Pyamu. Prayatana Shaitiliya Nanandasa Samapatati Pyamu. Prayatana Shaitiliya Nanandasa Prayatana Shaitiliya Nanandasama Padati Piyam Pavatiti Bhagyashashuh Prayatano Paramadasitya Prayatano Paramadasityatya Prayatano Prayatano Paramadasityatya Prayatano Paramadasityatya Sanam Yana Nanganga Mejayo Pavati Ananante Va Samapananam Jititama Sanam Nilbaltayati Iti. I'm not familiar with that style either. It's supposed to be Tubam Tuba. Who writes? I don't write Sanskrit, but different style. 47. From the laxity in efforts and from the thought transformation into infinity. From the laxity in efforts and from the thought transformation into infinity, the posture becomes steady and comfortable. Such is the completion of the sentence. From the cessation of efforts, the posture gets perfected by which the body does not remain shaky, or the mind being transformed into infinity brings about the perfection of posture. By relaxation of effort, or by a state of balance with reference to Ananta. Results. With these words, the sentence is completed. When efforts cease, the posture is completed, so that there is no agitation of the body. Or the mind stuff comes into a balanced state with reference to Ananta. Ananta means forever, I think. Or it's, and produces the posture. Vasuki is the Lord of Serpents. Ananta is a snake god. Or the god of snakes. Tato devam devana pita devam devana pika tahe. Shi doshno di pil devam devaira sanajaya nuna pipu yate. This is questionable, so I'm just gonna look it up. Compare it with other. See, it doesn't even use the. It's an N, not an M, in this version. Oof. And this version is. Devan, so they both use an N and not an M. Devan. I like this version. There's a fourth version. I'm gonna quadruple check here. Yeah, he uses M. Two versions use an N and two versions use M. I'm gonna go with an M. Shi doshno di pil devam devai. Shi doshno di pil devam devaira sanajaya nuna pipu yate. Shi doshno di pil devam devaira sanajaya nuna pipu. Shi doshno di pil devam devaira sanajaya nuna pipu yate. I'm going with the M version because it sounds more ancient to me. I mean, I could be wrong, but what do I know? I'm not gonna repeat. I'll repeat it. I'll do it with an N version. This is the N version. Shi doshno di pil devan devaira sanajaya nuna pipu yate. There. All right. I feel better, I guess. Thence, the cessation of disturbance from the pairs of opposites. From the conquest of posture, the yogi does not become overpowered by the pairs of opposites such as heat and cold, etc. Thereafter, he is unassailed by extremes. As a result of mastering the postures, he is not overcome by the extremes, by cold and heat, and by the others. 다스미는 사티 시장 사프라시바 사yor기 욜가티 비크체다흐 시바 사프라시바 사yor가티 시바 사프라시바 사yor가티 브라 빔. Sorry, I hope I'm still online. Okay, cool. Shiva saprashiva sayorgati bikuchedahu prano yamahu satya sanajaye bahyasya bayora jamanam shiva sahu kashtuyasya. I'm not familiar with that style, just gonna check to see. Yeah, cool. See, I don't read, this is the most modern version. I don't read this version because archive messed it up. Like, who could read that? I could sometimes. It says digitized S3 foundation, blah, blah, blah. Thanks a lot, archive. Yeah, Tuyasiya. Bayolnihasaranam Purashiva Sahu Dayolga Tibikucheda Upaya Pavahu Prano Yamahu. On its achievement comes breath control. the separation of the movement of inspiration and expiration. When the posture is achieved, breath control, that is, the separation of the movements of inspiration and expiration, takes place. Inspiration is the taking in of the external air, and expiration is the throwing out of the internal air of the lungs. In the separation of their movements, the cessation of them both is the pranayama, or breath control. When there is this, the restraint of breath, cutting off the flow of inspiration and expiration. After the mastery of posture, inspiration is the sipping in of the outer wind. Expiration is the expulsion of the abdominal wind. Restraint of the breath is the cutting off of the flow of these two, the absence of both kinds. Sa, du, ba. I'm not familiar with that style. Like that looks like a he. Yeah, here. Why couldn't it be like normal writing? Ba, here, piano, dara, setamu, pa, buritil, deshakala, samkhya, pihu. Like pa. Just want to make sure I'm reading it right. Okay. Ba, here, piano, dara, setamu, pa. Ba, here, piano, dara, setamu, pa, buritil. Ba, here. Ba, here, piano, dara, setamu. Ba, here, piano, dara, setamu, pa, buritil. Like this could take a little while. Have like 6 sutras left in this book, and then you're done with book 2. Book 2 is about fixing yourself. Book 1 is about concentration, and book 2 is for beginners, which is kind of funny. It doesn't start with beginners, it starts with the instrument, which is yoga itself. Okay. Ba, ya, piano, dara, bisho, ya, kushapi. No, wow, I almost skipped it. Ba, ya, piano, dara, sa, du. Ba, ya, piano, dara, setamun, pa, buritil, deshakala, samkhya, pihu. One more. Ba, ya, piano, dara, setamun, pa, buritil, deshakala, samkhya, pihu. Paridirishito, dilka su kushimahu. Sorry, I'm having trouble concentrating. There's a lot going on around me. Like I said, I can't do this in real life or outside. I have gotten attacked. Some people freak out. Like, oh my God, there's no God. Yatra, parashiva, sapul, vako, katya, pavahu. Did I read it right? Did I even check it? Yeah, dil kasu kushim. That's a different style. I'm not familiar with that style. This is the normal way to write Sanskrit. Katya pavahu. Tatra prashiva sapul vako. Katya pavahu sa bahyahu. Yatra shiva sapul vako. Katya pavahu sa apyanatarahu. Tritiyahu. Sitamam pa. The printing is not the best here, so I'm just gonna double and maybe triple check. Sitamum pa, yeah, sitamum pa, sitamum pa, sitamum pa buddhitiriyo, sitamum pa buddhitiriya duropaya pa bahu. Sakrita pura yatana de pavati. Yata tapate nyasitam Nyasatamu 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 Pale Jalam Saibataho Samkochama Padyate Tata Devayoriuga Padagatya Pava Devayoriuga Devayoriuga Padaga Devayoriuga Padagatya Pava. Since the printing is not the best here, I'm just gonna double check. Devayoriuga. I actually separated the one word into two. Devayoriuga. Yeah. Again, there's an alternative version. That's why I read this version, because it has most of the other versions. There's at least a few different versions. And they're not all different. It's just, a word here. Like, there's like maybe 100 words in the entire sutra. It's not that bad. Yeah. Padupavattya. Wow. Devayoriuga Padupavattya Pava Iti Trayo Piete Deshana Paridrishito Yanasya. Sorry, double checking. Yanasya. No, it's not a do. Yanasya. Toyanasya. Now I'm getting confused. This is Ityartahu. Yanasya Vishoyo Desha Iti Kalena Paridrishito Kushono na miyatata Batara Nue Na Bakachinana Kushono na miyatatata Kushono na miyatata Batara Nuena Bakachinana Kushono na miyatata Batara Nuena Bakachinana Kushono na miyatata Batara Nuena Bakachinana Ityartahu Samkhya Pihu Paridrishito Etam Vadapihu Shiva Saparashiva Saiho Pratama Udukata Sutadu Banuni Gurihi Tasyaita Badapildvidiya Uduka Tasutadu Banuni Uduka Tasutadu Uduka Tasutadu Banuni Uduka Tasutadu Banuni Uduka Tasutadu Banuni Gurihi Tasyaita Badapildvidiya Uduka Tasutadu Banuni Gurihi Tasyaita Uduka Tasutadu Banuni Uduka Tasutadu Banuni Gurihi Tasyaita Badapildvidiya Uduka Tasutadu Banuni Gurihi Tasyaita Badapildvidiya Udukata Evam Tritiyaho Just want to demonstrate that's supposed to be GH. Some versions don't use GH. Oh, they do here. And how about this one? Okay, cool. This 부미몽 에밤 드리디야흐 에밤 무리두라밤 마티야 에밤 디브라 이띠 삼키야 바리드리 슈터흐 사 칼바야 메바 마피아 스 칼바야 메바 칼바야 메바 마피아 스또 닐 가수 구시마흐. It's a little rough. The pranayama having the external, the internal, and the confining operations and being regulated by space, time, and number becomes long and subtle. And that, however, becomes long and subtle when its external, internal, and confining operations are regulated by space, time, and number. There, the external is that which is the cessation of movement after expiration. The internal is the cessation of movement after inspiration. The third is the confined operation, where the cessation of both takes place by a single effort. As water thrown on a heated stone shrinks from all sides, so this is the simultaneous cessation of movement of both of them. Further, these three are regulated by space. This much is its sphere, denotes space. They are regulated by time, that is, limited by the ascertainment of duration of moment. This is the meaning. They are regulated by number, that is, the first commencement is performed by so many inspirations and expirations. Similarly, the second commencement of the regulated pranayama is performed by so many, and thus is the third. Thus it is mild, thus it is middle, and thus it is intense. This pranayama is indeed regulated by number, and it being thus constantly practiced becomes long and subtle. Sorry, did I move the camera? Yeah, a little bit. But this is external or internal or suppressed in fluctuation, and is regulated in place and time and number, and is protracted and subtle. It is external in case there is no flow after expiration. It is internal in case there is no flow after inspiration. It is the third, suppressed in fluctuation, in case there is none of either kind, as the result of a single effort. Just as water dropped upon a very hot stone shrivels up wherever it falls, so both at once cease to be. And each of these three is regulated in space, deals with a certain amount of space. It's regulated in time, in other words, defined by a limitation to a certain number of moments. It is regulated in number, the first rising up by so many inspirations and expirations. In the same manner, the second rising up of the checked is measured by so many inspirations and expirations. Likewise, the third. Similarly, it is gentle. Similarly, it is moderate. Similarly, it is keen. Thus, it is regulated by number. So then, practiced in these ways, protracted and subtle. So when you read the Sanskrit, you don't need the addendums or whatever you call these. It actually gets in the way of understanding the sutra. That's when you read the Sanskrit. Okay. I think we have like 4 sutras left in book 2. If I don't finish it, that would be a shame, but you never know. Life throws stuff at you. Bahya pyanantara vishaya kushwepi. Bahya pyanantara vishaya kushwepi. Jatultaho. Deshakala samkhya pilpahya vishaya paridrishita. Kushiputaho. Tatha pyanantara vishaya paridrishita. 아구시부타흐 우파야타 딜카수 구시마흐 따뜻불받고 부미자야 뜨그로 그라메 누어 파율가뜨 율가띠아 파바시짜툴타흐 부미자야 뜨그라마 부미자야 뜨그라메 노 파율가 부미자야 뜨그라메 노 부미자야 뜨그라메 부미자야 뜨그라메 누어 파율가뜨 가띠아 파바시짜툴타흐 파바 파율가띠아 파바 파바시짜툴타흐 부미자야 뜨그라메 노 파율 부미자야 뜨그라메 노 파율가 부미자야 뜨그라메 노 파율가띠아 부미자야 뜨그라메 노 파율가띠아 파바시짜툴타흐 프라노야마흐 드리티야스투 비셔야 나 로치토. Pretty sure this is a V and not B. Just not the printing is not the best, so double check here. Yeah, V and V. Bish. Yeah. 비셔야나 로치토 가띠아 파바흐 사크리다 라부타 에바 데샤카라 삼티아피 데샤카라 삼티아피흐 파리드리시토 딜카수 그시마흐 짜툴타스투 시바사 브라시바사 율 비쇼야 바타라노 뜨그라메노 시바사 브라시바사 율 비쇼야 시바사 브라시바사 율 비쇼야 바타라노 뜨그라메노. I'm gonna read that one more time. Sorry. 시바 사프라시바 사율비쇼야 바타라노 뜨그라메노 부미자야 두. The printing is not the best. Sorry. 두 부미자야 두파야 구슈에파 불받고 부미자야 두파야 구슈에 부미자야 두 sorry. 부미자야 두파야 구슈에파 불받고 가띠아 파바시짜툴타흐 프라노야마 이티아얌 비셰슈 이티. I'm just gonna read that one more time. 부미자야 두파야 구슈에파 불받고 가띠아 파바시짜툴타흐 프라노야마 이티아얌 비셰슈 이티. Sorry, I had to do it. So this is 51. The fourth transcends the spheres of the external and the internal. The aforesaid external sphere, regulated by space, time, and number, has been transcended. Similarly, the regulated internal sphere has been transcended. It is long and subtle in both ways. The fourth, breath control, is preceded by these two, and is the gradual cessation of movement of both by the conquest over the stages. The third, however, is the cessation of movement where the spheres are not considered, and which is commenced at once. It being regulated by space, time, and number, becomes long and subtle. The fourth, however, is the cessation of movement after passing over the both by gradual conquest of the stages through the determination of the spheres of inspiration and expiration. This is the distinctive fourth, breath control. The fourth transcends the external and the internal object. The external object regulated in place and time and number is transcended. The internal object regulated in the same way is transcended. In both kinds of cases, it is protracted and subtle. Following after these, there is no flow of either kind. This is the fourth restraint of breath. Now the third restraint of breath is without regard to objects, has no flow, is begun once only, is regulated in place and time and number, and is protracted and subtle. But the fourth, because in consequence of its mastery of the stages in order, it has made out the objects of both expiration and inspiration, after transcending both, is without flow, and is the fourth restraint of breath. This is the distinction. 4 more to go. Can I do it? Tataha Kushuyate Prakasha Paranamu Prano Yama Napyasit Siatosya Prano Yama Napyasit Prano Yama Napyasyato Prano Yama Napya Prano Yama Napyasyatosya Yoginaha Kushuyate Viveka Chinyana Baranuyam Kaima Yatata Chakushote Maha Mohamaye Nenudra Jalena Maha Mohamaye oh sorry Mohamaya Nenu Mohamaya Nenudra Nenudra. Sorry, there's a lot of distraction around me. Mohamaya Nenundra Jalena Prakashashilam Satavama Pritya Sadeva Karye Niyungatam iti Niyungata iti Tadasya Prakasha Karanam Kaima Samsarani Bantanam Samsarani Banatanam Pra. You know what? I'm gonna do that whole verse one more time because it doesn't feel right. Yatata Chakushote Mohamayane Mohamayane Drajalena prakashashilam satvama britya tadevakariye niyunga kata iti. Okay. Tadasya prakasha varanam kaima samsarani banutanam prano yama pyasa dulbalam bhavati pratikushanam cha kushriyate tatha jogatamu tapo na param prano yama tato vishuddhilmalanam diputishcha jnanasya iti. Thence the covering of the effulgence is destroyed. Of the yogi who is given to the practice of breath control, the action which covers the intellective knowledge is destroyed. This is what the wise say. The effulgent essence, being covered by the network of the senses full of extreme ignorance, is engaged by that action alone in vice. Of the yogi, this action which is the covering of this luminosity and is the origin of rebirth, becomes feeble by the practice of breath control and fades away every moment. So also it has been said, there is no other penance higher than breath control. The dirts of impurities are purified, and the brilliancy of knowledge is manifested thereby. As a result of this, the covering of the light dwindles away. In the case of the yogin, who is practicing restraints of breath, the kaima capable of covering discriminative thinking dwindles away. What this is, they tell in the words, having covered the sattva which is disposed to light with delusion, made of infatuation, assigns the same to deeds which are not to be done. Therefore, by practicing restraint of breath, his kaima which covers the light, together with its bondage to the round of rebirth, becomes powerless. And from moment to moment, it dwindles away. And in this sense, it has been said, there is no self-castigation higher than restraint of breath. From it comes purity from defilement and the clear shining of thought. 3 more to go. Kim cha tarana. Alright, let me make sure I'm still online. Okay. Tarana su cha yogiyata manasahu prano yama pyasa deva prakachaldana vitarano prakachaldanavi prakachaldanabhitarano pyam va pranasya iti pacanat. Prakachaldanabhitarano pyam va pranasya iti pacanat. Okay. What more? And the capability of the mind for concentration is indeed secured by the practice of breath control on account of the authority of the aphorism, or by the expulsion and retention of breath. Furthermore, for fixed attentions also, the central organ becomes fit, merely in consequence of practice in restraint of breath. In accordance with the statement, or by expulsion and retention of breath. I hope everybody's okay. Atha kaho pratyaharaha svabhishya samprayoge citta svarupanukara citta svarupanukara. Sorry. Citta svarupanukara. Okay, there's number 1. Cittasya sva. Cittasya. Cittasya. Svarupanuka. Svarupanukara. Ivenudriyanam pratyaharaha. Svabhishya samprayoga pa. Svabhishya samprayoga pave. Citta svarupanukara. Citta svarupanukara. Iveti. Citta nirote. Citta bin panani rutthani nundriyanui. Citta banani. Citta banani ruttha. Citta banani ruttha. Citta banani ruttha. Citta banani ruttha. Citta banani ruttha nindriyanui. Could take a while. Wow. 2 more to go. Can I do 2 more? Is the world gonna let me do 2 more? Okay, where was I? Nirote, citta nirote, citta banani, citta banani ruddha, citta banani ruddha, citta banani ruddhani nundriyanui. 1 more. Citta banani ruddhani. Citta banani ruddha. Citta banani ruddha. Citta banani ruddhani nundriyanui. Nataren driya jaya padupayana. Tarama pekushonute. Nataren driya jaya padupayana. Tarama pekushonte. Nataren driya jaya padupayana. Tarama pekushonte. Nataren driya jaya padupayana. Tarama pekushonte. Tarama pekushante. Yanu nutarama pekushante. Nayaten driya jaya padupayana. Tarama pekushante. Nataren driya jaya padupayana. Tarama pekushante. Nataren driya jaya padupayana. Tarama. Nataren driya jaya padu. No, sorry, being interrupted. Nataren driya jaya padupayana. Tarama pekushante. Yatha matukararajam. Number 2. Rajanam. Matukararajanam. Makushika. Utpatananta manu utpatananti. Utpatananta manu utpatananta manu utpatananti. Nivishamana Nivishama namanu Nivishanute Tatenundriyanui Jitita nirote Nirudita Niruditani dieshu Pratyaharahu. Now, what is abstraction? In the absence of union with their own objects, the function of the senses to follow, as it were, the nature of the mind is abstraction. In the absence of union with their own objects, the function of the senses becomes, as it were, the imitation of the nature of the mind. Further, on the subjugation of the mind, the senses being subjugated, like the mind, do not depend upon any other means like the conquest over the other organs. As the bees fly with the flying king, and sit when he sits down, so the senses are subjugated by the subjugation of the mind. This is abstraction. Now, what is the withdrawal of the senses? The withdrawal of the senses is, as it were, the imitation of the mind stuff itself on the part of the organs by disjoining themselves from other objects. When there is no conjunction with their own objects, the organs in imitation of the mind stuff, as it is in itself, become, as it were, restricted. When the mind stuff is restricted, like the mind stuff, they become restricted, and do not, like the subjugation of the senses, require any further aid. Just as when the king bee flies up, the bees fly up after him, and when he settles down, they settle down after him. So when the mind stuff is restricted, the organs are restricted. This then is the withdrawal of the senses. Alright, last one. Let me make sure I'm still online. Yeah, cool. Tatahu parama pashyetenu niryanam iti Shri Patanjali Virajit Yogasu Shri Patanjali Virajita Yogasu Dreshu Dvitiyahu Satanapadahu Shabda Dishivabhya Sana Minudriya Jaya. It's not that long. I could do it. Shabda Dishivabhya Sana Shabda Dishiva Vyasana Shabda Dishiva Vyasana Minudriya Jaya Shabda Dishiva Vyasana Minudriya Jaya Iti Gachit Sakatil Vyasanam. Okay, I'm seeing things here, sorry. Now I have to check in the English spelling. Yeah. Sakatil Vyasanam Vyasyatyenam Shreyasa iti Abirudita Pratipatatil Nya Pratipatatil Nya. I just want to make sure that spelling is correct. Just gonna look at one version for this one. Yeah. Shabda di sampara yogaho Svakacha yatyanu Svakacha nityanye Raga dvesho bhave Sukhatu hokashu niyam Shabda di jinyana minudriyai Shabda di jinyana minudriya jaya Iti gachit Chitataika griya da pratipatati lavati Chittataika Griyada Chittataika Griyada Pratipatati Ravati Chittataika Griyada Pratipatati Ravati Jaigi Shoviyaho Tatashicha Parama Divyam Pashyata Yakuchitata Nirote Niruditani Nundriyanui Natare Nundriya Jayapat Prayatana Krita Mupaya Nantarama Pekushonute. So that's the hardest word before the book 2 ends. Could take a while. Natare Nundriya Jayapat Prayatana Krita Mupaya Nantarama Pekushonute. Yana Dharma Pekushonate Natare Nundriya Jayapat Natare Nundriya Jayapat Prayatana Krita Mupa Natare Nundriya Jayapat Prayatana Krita Mupa Yana Dharma Pekushonate Yogina Iti. Give me 1 second here. Just wanna check this is a double T and not a single T. I'm just seeing things. There's a lot going on. Somebody's really upset outside. I hope it's Yakachata and Munis, yogis of the olden times used to complain that whenever they say Sanskrit, things will happen around them. So they asked Nityananda, who was born about 500 years ago, what should we do every time we say Sanskrit? Something happens and they can't, it makes them not say it. So he said, just pronounce it 3 times. Trying to do that too, but yeah, double T, cool. Yeah, we're done with book 2. Now I'm just gonna read the translations. Somehow we got through. Thence the highest subjugation of the senses. Someone says that non-attachment towards sound, etc., is the conquest of the senses, because attachment is vice. It causes the yogi to deviate from beatitude. Some others say that lawful enjoyment is proper, so the union with the sound, etc., of one's own desire is the conquest. Others again say that in the absence of attraction and aversion, the sensation of sound, etc., devoid of pleasure and pain, is the conquest of the senses. But Jaigi Shovya says that it is only the absence of cognition due to the one-pointedness of the mind. Also for this reason, this is indeed the highest subjection, which is the subjugation of the senses by the restraint of the mind. The yogis do not depend upon any other means caused by a strong effort, like the conquest of the other organs. As a result of this, there's complete mastery of the organs. There are some who think that the mastery of the organs is a lack of desire for the various things, such sounds and so forth. Longing is attachment in the sense that it puts him a long way from a good. Unforbidden experience is legitimate. Others, that there may be conjunction with the sounds and so forth as one desires. Others think that there is a subjugation of the senses, when there is no passion or aversion after the thinking of the various things is without pleasure or pain. Jaigi Shovya thinks that it is refusal to perceive, as a result of the mind stuff's singleness of intent. And as a result of this, when the mind stuff is restricted, the organs are restricted. There is not, as in the case of the subjugation of the other organs, any further need of means performed with effort. But this mastery, which is this singleness of intent, is the complete. Iti Shri Patanjali Samkhya Parabhajane Yoga Shastra Shrimad Vyasa Pashuye Dvitiyahu Satanapadahu. Of Patanjali, the second book, entitled Specification of the Means of Attainment. Supernormal powers. There are some miracles that Jesus did, or I call them Yahusha, which is written in this book, like such as walking on water, etc. Right. Namaste. Thank you.